Hi, I'm Shelley Jackson. I'm course leader for the MA in Children's Book Illustration.
Hi, I'm Pam Smythe. I'm Senior Lecturer Practitioner on the MA Children's Book Illustration.
So the idea behind observational drawing is not to make beautiful pictures.
Exactly. It's to record what you're seeing, the everyday world around you, and what you're trying to do is train your eye and your hand to work together to feed information into your brain, and that information is stuff that you can then use later on when you're making imaginative work.
What do you enjoy about observational drawing?
I actually have found a lot of techniques and methods that I've taken forward in my later work, which I would never have tried if I was working at home.
Well, just the point of practicing, which is something very needed and helps you to overcome the fear of getting out to draw, and also helps to find so much interesting things to look at. I mean, for example, people around, stories around, or the characters of the place of the city.
It helps you remember stuff. And I was saying to my friend the other day that I was doing a drawing the other day, and I remember everything about our conversation. When I look at my drawing, I remember everything.
So, as an associate lecturer, what do you see as the importance of observational drawing for students?
Well, I think it helps students develop a visual vocabulary, so that so often with creating illustrations for children's books, a lot of times you find yourself working from your memory, drawing imaginative things, and by observing the real world, you get to understand form, you get to understand people in motion, you get to understand perspective and structure. So they'll have that archived in their heads and use that anytime they need to for their illustration work.
What do you find challenging about it?
Starting. Sometimes it can be a bit stressful or can be scary to start drawing in front of people. But once you are there starting drawing, you see that it's not that difficult and it's nothing to be scared about. So just the first step to go for it is challenging. And then just overcoming also the inner critical voice that says, "No, it's not. You have to make a good drawing. It's not perfect. No, that's fine. Don't worry about that."
Well, in the beginning, it was really uncomfortable sitting and staring at people. Now I don't. I don't mind so much anymore.
Do you have any tips?
It's just maybe go with some friends, like one or two friends, and not necessarily sit in the same place, but that just up the street or whatever. That will sort of make it easier as well.
Personally, figure drawing for me has been a challenge, so I've just tried to do as much as possible. And I've always been quite detail orientated, so I've tried to just strip that back and just get the shape down, which has been really helpful for my work.
And what if students are trying to draw people moving, which is really challenging and something that students always need to tackle?
Yeah, it's so important. It's such an important discipline. It's such a crucial skill for an illustrator to learn. I think the most important thing is not to think that you're going to get a likeness of somebody. It's not about getting a portrait of that exact person. What they want to be doing is looking at the overall shape, posture, demeanour of that person and getting down the basics of what they look like, that overall shape and movement as somebody walks by. And the more they do that, the more information their brain will retain and the more they'll be able to record on the page as the skill develops. But it's absolutely not about getting an exact likeness. Another thing they can do is amalgamate people. So if you're seeing lots of people walk by on their mobile phones, you could be looking at what that shape is that they're making as different people go by, right? So, and just making one collated image. So there's lots of different ways of training yourself to be able to record a figure. But trying is the most important thing, and not worrying about making bad drawings is really important too.
Yeah, and so another thing they could try would be finding someone who is doing something repetitive, right? So going to the market and finding a cashier who's doing the same movements over and over, so they can pick a place in that sequence and work on that.
Yeah. That's really useful. And also having somewhere fixed like that where you know you're going to have people coming up again and again to a fixed point, buying their coffee, buying their vegetables. And then you're looking at, you know they're going to be there for a few seconds, so you know that there's going to be that interaction and they're paused to make that exchange. You can actually go and capture the different shapes of people during that interaction.
You know, it is hard when you do a drawing you're not happy with, and you just have to keep going. That's the hard bit, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because, you know, you improve, and you improve quite quickly, I think.
So do you have favorite materials to use?
Well, I do really like the simplicity of a pencil. I like Blackwing pencils. They have a nice kind of variety of marks that you can make with them. And at the moment I'm getting a bit more into acrylic gouache, although I haven't tried using that on location yet, but I really want to.
I do love using pen and ink. I like using a brush pen filled with ink and water, or sometimes just water. I really love these charcoal pencils called Pierre Noir. I really, really love these. And I also like a pencil.
Oh, it's difficult to say, but I think that water-based materials are my favorite to make like a kind of wash first, and then building after that. Like you can work on tones and then focus on lines or details. But then suddenly I change to something completely different, and I just only I use dry materials and pencils like I'm doing now, because it can be super easy and quick to use, and you can get the like a block of color and details at the same time, so you can draw very quickly, and I like that spontaneity as well. So those two I would say, inks, pencils.
Yeah. Do you have favorite materials to use?
I go in phases. At the moment, I'm loving liquid watercolor because I'm trying to release control a little bit in my work. So yeah, water materials help me to be a bit more freer.
Okay.
What about subjects? Do you have favorite subjects to draw?
I tend to gravitate towards things that are green. So yeah, I like being out in the park, drawing trees, flowers. But putting a figure into the landscape usually helps give it an extra dimension, an extra sense of perspective. So I'm working on including more people in my drawings as well.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm really enjoying architecture, which is not really solving my figure drawing fear, but I'm trying to incorporate the two. So I'm drawing more street scenes and environments with people in, which has been really helpful.
Just people. I love to draw people because I see sometimes I see a face, oh, I have to draw. You know, sometimes I like to stop people. Like, could I draw you, please? I think that's my favorite things, and also nature. I think that people and trees or nature surroundings, yeah.
Okay. Do you end up using the people that you draw later in projects?
Yes, I did. Few times. I think that's very helpful. Yeah, because it helps you also with the imagination. For example, if you are drawing a person, and for example, I remember once I was drawing a girl that was crying. I didn't know what was going on, so you imagine what is going on behind her life. And then if you are interested in develop a story that helps you to use it at some point, or start a story from that point.
Do you have any advice for people new to observational drawing?
Just get out and draw whatever you see. Don't worry about the finished product. You'll make bad drawings to begin with. I've got sketchbooks full of them. But actually some of that work I look back on now and it's actually quite useful. Firstly to see your progress, but also you never know, there'll be something useful that will become something later on in your work.
Yeah, don't judge your drawings. Just think of it, I try and think of it like an art practice. So you're just practicing your art and you're getting, you're just trying to loosen up, and don't see it as good or bad, see it as a practice and an experience, and see it as like life enhancing and things like that, and try not to be judgmental, I would say.
don't think too much about making a beautiful drawing or a perfect drawing. But it doesn't matter. The point is practice, and it's not the result on the paper. It's how to say, how you build that skills in your brain, in your mind. So little by little, you're getting better and better.
Not try to do everything at one go, just concentrate on some things. And so if people is one thing that you are interested in, then concentrate on them and then put them in an environment eventually. But just start somewhere. And
I would say like facing the fear, stretch. Like I remember like okay, if people are going to see me drawing, I'm scared, I'm shy, but then just go for it, put in front on the people on people, and sometimes you see that you can have a chat with people, and that is very gives you a lot of freedom. Like you speak to people and they are not going to say nothing wrong about your drawing. Like they are going to love it, and you can engage and have fun and know people. So I would say go straight for it. Like put yourself in the middle of the park, or in the middle of the street,
Face the fear.
Yeah. Try that. It's difficult, but if you do, then you overcome that, and you're like a step further.
Hopefully, this has been a good introduction to observational drawing and why the practice is beneficial to your skills as an artist, even if you're an illustrator who usually works from imagination. Observational drawing is as much about learning to see as it is learning to draw, so you should spend most of your time looking at your subject and not nearly as much time looking at the page. Observational drawing can help you to understand how people move, how they interact with each other, and how they interact with the environment. It's a great place for gathering ideas for sequences, characters, and settings. And it's a great place for trying out materials and experimenting with different ways of working. It can be daunting and even uncomfortable at first, not only to draw what you see, but to draw while people are watching you draw what you see. But it does get easier with practice, and it's always easier with friends. So, keep going, don't give up, and soon you'll be able to tell how much difference it makes in the rest of the art that you make.